northwest of Australia down to Perth and across over to the central southern coast capital city called Adelaide. Now, distance is a funny thing in Australia. In Europe, you're on the continent, and even here, you drive 50, 60 kilometres and you'll pass through a dozen towns. But in Australia, you can drive 500 kilometres and not really see anything but a couple of dead kangaroos and a couple of live ones bouncing around in front of your car. So, when you break down in Australia and you're not in a city, it can be pretty hairy. It can be pretty dangerous. But so where was I? I was driving. Life's good. And I decided I'd buy myself a new van, one that had a handbrake that worked, so I didn't have to carry a brick around and avoid parking on hills. So I took my dog, a woman from the northwest, and we drove down to Perth, and then we were on our way across to Adelaide. It's a 2,700 kilometre drive, about 36 hours total. About halfway, the universe struck me down. In the form of a 1-inch crack down the side of my engine block, I realised I'd now entered into what's called Shit Creek. 400 kilometres from the nearest town, sit by the side of the road for a day without seeing a car go past. Eventually we got a lift into town later on that night, got towed there. The woman had left by this point, but we'll get to that later in the song. And the town I've got to has 4 mechanics in it, 4 different workshops. And all 4 of those mechanics had left earlier that day for an overseas holiday to Vietnam. So if I wasn't up Shit Creek before, I was there now. So wait by the side of the road for 4 days, trying to convince all these trucks coming past to take myself, my dog and my van home. But I was determined that I'd get through it. Determined I was going to make this a good thing. So here I am a couple of months later, on the other side of the world, singing a blues tune to you guys about the whole experience. So if you've ever broken down metaphorically or mechanically in a car in the middle of nowhere, metaphorically or mechanically in a car, then you'll appreciate this. The song's called Radiator, and it's the 5th track on that red and white record. Some Australian blues for you. Here we go.